this is going to be our first episode of Beyond the Shadows. I'm here with Robbie. He's from Unknown Ventures. We're going to talk to him today, see where he got his start, what got his interest going in the paranormal. You also do urban exploring and...
That's right, yeah. Urban exploring. I explore cemeteries. I love historical markers, anything that's old and historic, and also paranormal. Paranormal being, anything from Bigfoot to UFOs to spiritual ghosts and beings, demons, all that good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So, looking back, what can you say you remember being your first, let's say, paranormal experience?
Paranormal? I would say, the first time I ever saw anything that was not human to me was when I lived in my old house. I was like 5 years old, going down the hallway just to take, a pee, going to the restroom, and I'm coming back down the hallway, and it's pitch dark because I know where I'm going, and I see right before I go into my room these red eyes, and it was obviously, yes, taller than I was. And, they looked like evil-looking eyes, almost like you would see in a cartoon, red eyes. It just blew my mind, but I knew what the switch was. Once I turned that switch on, it was gone. And then, of course, from there, there was a few weird things that happened, and from then on, I'd see stuff in the sky and stuff like that. Just, your regular paranormal activity that a lot of people come across these days. But I'd have to say it started about when I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, now with your urban exploring, what would you say, what was your first, let's say, where did you go for your first trip out doing your urban exploring?
Doing exploration, I would say, before it was even YouTube, I was always exploring stuff. Mm-hmm. Going out places, just being a kid, exploring places while I was in middle school, high school. But as far as what I'm doing now for Unknown Ventures, mm-hmm. my first place that I've ever explored, oh man, my first exploration, that was, actually that was the Lone Star Brewery.
Okay.
That was the first exploration video that I did for Unknown Ventures. Massive place. I couldn't even tell you the square footage. I'm still trying to find it out. That place will take you all day to explore. There's 3 to 4 levels of an abandoned brewery. It's mm-hmm. a factory. It's massive. So it's still on YouTube. You guys check it out. Lone Star Brewery, the abandoned Lone Star Brewery. They're actually going to be tearing it down and making it into like a shopping center.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I heard something about that
That's
recently.
Right.
So, as far as locally, I know one place that you've done kind of urban exploring crossover into paranormal. Well, a couple of places local. Actually, the one where you got me and Chris started.
Yeah. With
the Divine Mill. Do you want to kind of go into what we did there? And...
Yeah. So again, I was watching other YouTubers. No one really big, but I just saw that there's a community out there for this stuff, and I never really opened my eyes to it. But right here in our town, there's an abandoned mill, and we drive by it all the time, and I've never really been in it myself. Excuse me, but when I saw it, the first thing I decided to do was call the number on the door, and when I asked him about it, the owner was more than happy to tell me all the history. He wanted to come down and tell me all about it. And then I saw his excitement, and then I decided to tell him, well, is it okay with you if me and some buddies come over and explore the place? And while we're at it, if we can come here at nighttime with your permission and do a paranormal investigation. And that's when I called Chris, and Chris called you because he told me you were interested in that stuff too. Yeah. And I was like, dude, the more the merrier. Bring them on. Let's go. And then you came with your camera, and then lo and behold, you got touched that night, I believe, right? And I caught the orb flying behind you. Yeah. If you watch the video in slow motion, Divine Mill on Unknown Ventures page, you'll see Jim here get touched, and you'll see the orb fly behind him. I forgot to ask you, how did that feel? What did you feel? Or what did it feel like? I never got to ask you. Did it feel like spider webs, or did it feel like somebody was actually?
If I had to describe it, it would be kind of like an electric spider web.
Really?
Like, you know how you have the spider web that's kind of that real light, kind of spread out like that, but that kind of electric tingle to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that is just crazy stuff, because I saw the orb go right behind you, and we started early, about maybe, I think it was 9 o'clock maybe that we started.
Yeah, that one
somewhere around there. We started pretty early.
We started that one about 9 o'clock.
But still, that didn't stop anything. I mean, it doesn't matter what time of day. It was still a really awesome exploring. Mm-hmm. Even though the place was small, we didn't have to spend too much time there.
Yeah. So. Let's see. I'm gonna edit some too. So.
Okay.
I'm just.
Yeah, you can just cut it out.
Yeah. Oh man. So if you want to talk about a little bit about the VFW, let's see where else. I guess. I mean, we don't have to go into like real big detail into all the places.
Sure,
like,
sure.
We could mention.
I'll give a briefing on all of them real quick.
Yeah, like.
So I guess
really didn't have much happen at the VFW.
And you can just go ahead and ask me what went on from there, and then where did you take off, and then where what lead you to, kind of thing.
Okay. So after the Divine Mill, what's been going on with Unknown Ventures since then?
After the Divine Mill, of course we weren't, and especially me, I wasn't established that much, and so I started looking for places nearby, slowly expanding, and the next place to go locally was the Divine VFW, which was also a high school. Built in 1905, very old.
I remember right, it was also a clinic or a hospital at one point too.
Well, yeah, it was a medical clinic. Now, not a hospital. Unfortunately, I was hoping it'd be a hospital. That'd been awesome, but it was just a clinic. I don't even think we were able to go on that side, but we went over there where there was an underground school, and we saw a lot of books there. That place was cool. And now I know we went in there. The exploration of that place was really awesome. I went in there during the day, because you guys, I think were busy that day. I went in there, did my exploration, and after that, I called you guys, and then you guys came in, and we did our paranormal investigation. And unfortunately, we didn't find nothing. We looked, we researched. It was creepy.
Well, we heard
creaks and stuff. It was definitely spooky, sketchy. Don't get me wrong. It still gave me the chills down my mind, but I just don't think. We didn't catch anything. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not haunted. We may even go another time. Lo and behold, we might actually catch something. But that was our second investigation.
Now, touching on that.
Yeah.
With the place, with going somewhere, not having activity, knowing that a place is haunted, and there's a lot of evidence of a place being haunted, I think you might have some experience with that pretty recently, if I don't recall.
Yeah, Yorktown Memorial Hospital in Yorktown, Texas. I went there recently. I stayed there, I got there about 8 o'clock p.m. and didn't leave till about 3:30 a.m. in the morning. And I was there with a few people, and we went to the chapel. I know they don't like tattoos. I was showing my tattoo. You're known to get scratched, poked, pushed. I went on the top level, the second level, the regular base level, and the basement underneath. I just, I think I caught a few orbs. I'm still going over that footage till this day. But that place was definitely a trip. I mean, it's a beautiful place, old building, and that was a hospital, and there was a lot of, like, the beds were still there, all the books were still there. Everything was intact. I mean, it was a pretty trippy place. All the original toys that were played with.
Oh man.
You could see the beds that were still there before the priest used to sleep. It was quite a trip. But yeah, it was a bummer for me, because that place being known as one of the most haunted places, I didn't catch anything. And again, it could have just been because I went on a bad day.
Right.
And maybe that night just wasn't the night for it to happen.
Just the energy level wasn't right.
Which is kind of what I feel for the Divine VFW. I mean, spirits do visit places they've been before, and I just don't think it was happening that night. But I wouldn't mind going back again and seeing if I can give it another shot. So, yeah, it was quite the experience.
So what's coming up in the near future for you?
Well, I know we got something going on here this weekend. Napa Auto Parts Store.
Yep, out there in Catula.
Out there in Catula, we've got some evidence already from the owner, from his security cameras, that stuff flying off shelves, falling off counters,
customers,
things being thrown at customers. We got that going on. And then also I invited you guys to join me on the Vigo Hotel, or Hotel Vigo, I should say. That was a hotel that used to be a hospital. It used to be a center that would take care of the elderly. And a couple years ago, a man killed himself inside there. And no one's ever been in there. And you know, this is what I like to do. I like to explore and investigate places that no one's ever been to, no one's ever touched. And I like to reach out to the owner, because we go into these places, you just don't know what's going to happen to you. So it's always nice to let somebody know that we're there. And we've always gotten much support from the cities and their police departments.
And that's one thing that I'll say.
That's amazing.
All the places that we've gone, it's
been a blessing.
We've always had, it's been a very warm welcome from the cities, from the people. Like when we were in Ozona, the police officers, they'd come out and they actually came in to the building with us while we were there.
Yeah.
And they brought up the old jailhouse,
which was epic. Great place, because like I said, out of the hotel, the museum, and the jailhouse being the smallest place to go, that's where I caught my most active, high activity paranormal stuff. I mean, coming from that jail, they would have hangings in there. It was still built in the 1888.
They still had the area where the gallows were, the tower.
Yeah,
it's still standing. That's where you had to walk through there to get to the holding cells.
You can feel the energy in there, which is pretty cool. I'm somewhat of an empath. I can feel the energy. I can tell you if something's there. I necessarily can't tell you if it's good or bad, but I can tell you that it's there. I've somewhat opened up my third eye, per se, because you just got to open up to it. You got to be willing to open up to it, but be smart about it. That was definitely an epic place. So Ozona, I would have to say, was probably one of my most favorite places I've been for that reason, because not only did we get to check out 3 places that day, we could have been 4 if we would have went to that abandoned Navy barracks, but we didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
But not only that, we had like 3-4 paranormal teams there with us. So I mean, it couldn't have been any better. It was one heck of an epic night.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. It was awesome.
So going forward, you said you've got a couple things coming up.
Yeah, like I said, of course, next month we're going to be doing the Hotel Vigo, and then later on this year, I'll be in Colorado, doing Stanley Hotel.
Okay.
In Colorado, which of course that's where the idea came of for The Shining, maybe The Shining.
That's the one that the Overlook was designed after, if I remember.
Right. Of course, yeah. The one they did in the movie was extremely much more enormous, but still, very, very. Just, it's a beautiful place, and so I'm going to be there for maybe 2-3 days, and that trip is going to be extremely epic for the reason that there's going to be so many creators there, abandoned explorationists, Bigfoot hunters, paranormal investigators, and just a bunch of fans are going to show up.
Yeah.
So I plan on actually having one of my very first Bigfoot hunts for my paranormal side. It's going to be pretty crazy. Colorado's known to be a hot spot for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's not the hottest spot, but it's known for that type of stuff.
On the subject of Bigfoot, I'd mentioned something to you about it before.
Yeah.
Lone Star Trail, just outside of Houston.
Okay.
You need to look into that one, because there's some groups that's.
I heard you're into Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
You're into Bigfoot, man. I'm telling you, man. We're gonna do this.
So
I'm incorporating that into my stuff.
Awesome. Me, Katie, and the boys, we went out to Lone Star Trail. Maybe a year or so ago.
So was it?
It was pretty cool. We hiked in maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. We didn't see anything, but the time of year that it was, there were no flowers that we could see. The trail was pretty clean. There was leaf litter, fallen leaves, stuff like that on the trail. But there was nothing of color that would, if you saw a flower sitting in the trail, it would grab your attention, right?
It was dead.
Yeah, there's nothing there. So we walk out, we get to where we're going to turn around, we take our break, we turn around to come back, and we get maybe about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile back down the trail, going back to the car, and there's a little bundle of flowers sitting in the middle of the trail.
Really?
Yeah.
How
So
unique.
it was interesting. We didn't see any other people in the area. There were no other cars in the parking lot. It's a pretty secluded place. So it was pretty interesting.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
pretty cool.
if you decide
It's
to go up
pretty
there,
trippy. I mean, you see weird things like that in the forest all the time. Maybe we should take a trip out there. I mean,
That's what I'm
Houston's
saying.
not too far from us.
we've got the equipment for it.
We definitely do.
We've
We've
got
got the
body
drones,
cams.
body cams.
See, if we go, you need to get a body cam.
I've been looking into that. I mean, it's on my wish list.
Yeah.
That and a magnet for magnet fishing. I definitely want to try magnet fishing out. That is something I think is very cool. I mean,
That's
out here and where we are, Texas. I mean, all of South Texas. I mean, it's funny because before I went to Yorktown Memorial Hospital, we had a Parafam Reunion. YouTubers from all over the United States, not many, but it's the second event they ever held, and it was held in San Antonio by What the Paranormal. I need to check What the Paranormal out. They've been a great help with my success in with Unknown Ventures. But Amy, with What the Paranormal, she held her second event, and they had some YouTubers come down, and here. They're in San Antonio, the Black Swan Inn. I'm sure you're familiar with. Ghosts Adventures have been there. It's a haunted vintage house way back in the day. I mean, that house was up before the Civil War.
Well, if I remember right, there's a battleground there.
It's on Battleground. Yeah. It's super, super cool. So the owner of that place, Jo, her name's Jo, sweet lady. She also owns Yorktown Memorial Hospital. She owns both locations, and so I went by there, and of course, even if you're walking around and take pictures, there's a charge to do that. She has to earn her keep. But I went there with two other YouTube creators, and we went over there, and I saw her, and I was like, well, 2 days from now, I'm going to be at your place in Yorktown, and she's like, well, I won't step foot in there. She says it's very active. I mean, I believe her because I mean. She lives in a haunted house herself. I'm sure she sees stuff, but just talking to her, she gave me some insight, like on how the paranormal works and stuff. And she was a great person, so it was pretty exciting to see that stuff and just be there with YouTube creators. I actually got to go inside that house briefly. She invited us in, and you can definitely feel something going on in that house.
Yeah.
Beautiful house. There's actually supposed to be a portal in that house, which is pretty cool. But you can definitely feel something in that place. And she was a very unique woman. I mean, definitely plan on going back to not Yorktown, Black Swan Inn.
Well, that's one of the ones that I've been wanting to go to for a while.
We definitely need to try that out.
So when you go there, definitely hit me up.
We will. It's not that far from us.
Yeah, it's just down the road.
Oh no.
So.
But yeah, so after I have these trips coming up, I have a goal here. Once I hit a few of my personal goals, I plan on, I want to go overseas next year. That's the plan. Sometime at the beginning of next year or mid next year, I plan to go out of state. I mean, not out of state, out of the country.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Unknown Ventures. I've only been able to make videos in 2 states. Here in Texas, and I've done a few videos in Louisiana.
Okay.
A few cemeteries, abandoned water parks, and it's been a blast. And I plan on going back to Louisiana because I really wanted to go to New Orleans, which is like voodoo capital of all United States.
Yeah.
That place is wicked, and I just really been dying to go to St. Louis Cemetery. The abandoned Six Flags over there. I mean, that's like, I believe it was like top 6 most popular abandoned places in the United States. But that's my plans to travel over there to the UK. I know a few people in the UK. I got a place there to stay, and that's the plan. Go to UK, explore the castles. I mean, you look over here in the United States. We talk history. Usually the farthest back you're going to see is like maybe early 1800s.
Yeah.
If you go maybe to like New England area, that part of the United States, you're going to maybe see 17, sometimes a few 1600s cemeteries and buildings. Other than that, you'll find caves with Indian drawings, and that's about all you're going to get over here.
Yeah.
You go over there to Europe, and wherever in Europe, from Germany to Ireland to UK, you're going to find stuff from 1200, 1100, even maybe older. There's a rich history over there that is just, just crazy. Paranormal stuff, history, stuff I would just love to explore that needs to be, that Unknown Ventures wants to seek out.
One that I've always thought would be kind of cool to go to, Paris Catacombs.
Which one's that?
The Catacombs under Paris. It's a series of tunnels that are under.
Oh yes, I heard of that. Holy moly!
There are people that have been lost under there.
Really?
Yeah, that's one that I wouldn't mind seeing it. Getting in to see it would be. I mean, I don't know if they do tours now.
Oh, really?
But when I had originally looked into it years back, you weren't allowed in the catacombs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's crazy. Isn't that something?
Now I understand there's tunnels under New York as well. They're not.
Oh, I've heard
like
about
the
that.
Catacombs, but they're.
A conspiracy thing is when the Twin Towers were hit and they were cleaning up, they actually saw an underground tunnel underneath it as the people were picking up all the wreckage, and somebody said they saw soldiers moving something real quick, trying to get rid of something, and it's just a conspiracy. It was the craziest thing I heard, but it's funny you say that because it kind of meshes together. So again, we're all conspiracy theorists here.
Yeah, conspiracies. That's a whole. That's a whole other topic that we can get lost in.
Yes.
So
conversation. We'll be back with it. That's another episode.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for tonight. We'll try to, we'll be getting together here. For us, it'll be here in a few minutes. For you guys, it'll be like maybe last week that we will have gotten together.
Yeah.
So,
but we got some good stuff coming. And also, if you guys are interested in seeing, any of Unknown Ventures' work, it's Unknown Ventures. Unknown Ventures. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
And I'll put the link on there.
Okay.
On the page as well.
Absolutely.
So,
and you can
find
definitely me on YouTube. Don't forget to check out YouTube.
Definitely hit up Unknown Ventures. Some great stuff going on over there.
That's right. Thank you for